First of all, these aren't creeks in my area. They're creek dry, watering hole full. Okay, so this food plot that we're coming out on right now is the first one I'm going to dig a watering hole next to. There's a lot of reasons I choose to put them where I do. There's strategy involved. But anyways, there's a little creek here on the right, a runoff ditch, and I'm going to try a new experiment. I'm going to tie in this new watering hole into that creek. It's going to be like an offshoot. So I'm going to dig a little channel from the creek down into the watering hole off to the side. So when it rains, it should fill this watering hole and it should recharge it every time it rains, because this ditch is way at the bottom of a huge hill and it definitely gets a lot of water. So let's check it out. Alright, let's see if I got time to do just a real small watering hole, and then I'm calling it in for today. Fill up the little watering hole and keep going. So I just got to get it about a foot or two lower than that creek, and it should hold water just about all year. But right now you can see we're about 5 foot higher elevation than the creek. But all I need is one channel to come in. That's it. Back in. Kinds of rock down there. Look at how dry it is. I made my cut. Now I'm going to try to go deeper than that creek level. And then I'll build a ramp in it so they can get in and out of it. Now we're getting somewhere. Still got to bust up all that rock down there, but you probably can't see it, but I could tell we're probably at least a couple feet deeper than that creek line, somewhere 2 to 3 feet. Ain't gonna be a very big watering hole, but if it saturates and holds water, it should stay here year round. Hey, Kapper here, and I'm going to answer some questions that I've had on some of my videos. Some gentleman, he was actually quite rude and ignorant, so I blocked him from my channel, but his question was, you bleepity bleep bleep bleep, who in the world builds a watering hole next to a creek? First of all, these aren't creeks in my area, they're ditch creeks, but they're called creeks, whatever. So here we are in August 16th to be specific, which can run into the fall. You see my watering hole back here, okay? It's right next to a creek. So here is the creek, right next to the watering hole. Bone dry, bone dry, creek dry, watering hole full, creek dry, watering hole full. Now I'm going to push these piles of dirt back because it's kind of deep, and I don't know if the deer will want to go down in there without being able to at least see some of the area. So if I get these piles pushed back, then they'll have half visibility if they go in there to take a drink. bigger, and I brought it farther out into the opening so that the edge of the water, depending on how high I get, should be a lot more in the open for the deer. We'll see. It's going to be a good experiment. Real good experiment. That's the creek right down there. They ended up moving a lot more dirt than I expected, but I'm already here. Might as well make it a little bigger, a little deeper for another, 15, 20 minutes of digging. Kind of show you what it looks like over here. I'm just building the ramp. Now you see how it's coming out into the edge of this food plot? That water level should be somewhere around right there where my bucket is. And then I'm going to grade this ramp out next. Alright, I'm kind of going down into the watering hole right here, so I can backtrack the ramp coming up. Tracks ain't got enough uphill power. There we go. Almost there. Now you see a look at my madness. Always a method. And I'll probably pack that bottom down while I'm here, just to give it a little better chance. So I packed the bottom the best I could by eyeballing it. That water should be coming up past these bucket teeth somewhere right around there. And I got a really nice ramp for them now. So I'm really curious to see how this one's going to hold. Normally I try to track the bottom in, and some will hold and some won't. It's just, even in clay, some won't hold without tracking it in. But she's looking real good. Alright, here's an after look of the watering hole. You can see there's one of the new micro plots. And I'll show you this cut in here in my plan. So now we're down. The water should come up to right around here. It's probably not going to be all that deep, but for now we'll see how deep it holds, and I could always just come back and dig it out a little deeper. But it'll stay very cool being this low with these like hillsides here. The water will stay really nice and cool. Well, we'll see. Just another experiment. Never really did one like this and kind of made an offcut from a ditch.